Right, welcome back. It's New Dawn, and after that conversation, I'll call it stimulating conversation with the Desert Warriors, as I'd like to call the entire expenditure group going. So, you've already seen the women, and so you know what will happen on this program right after that conversation. Now, you haven't seen the women in a while, and that's because, well, it's hard to pin these busy women down to issues, but this particular issue got everybody running to the studio. I mentioned it briefly previously, but it is true that there is an impending bill in the House that is supposed to legislate on nudity. In fact, I think the title of the bill specifically is An Act to Prohibit and Punish Public Nudity, Sexual Intimidation, and Other Related Offenses in Nigeria. That's what we'll be talking about today on the program. And I've got two of the ladies here with me this morning. On my extreme left-hand side, it's great to see Ibim again. We haven't seen you in a while. Ibim Semenitare is here. Good morning, Ibim.
Good morning, Fobi. It's good to be here.
It's absolutely fantastic to see you. I'm always happy when I see you.
Ah, well.
And seated right beside Ibim there, of course, is the wonderful Shola Salako, whose column we're all still waiting for you to start again.
Don't worry, I'll resurrect it this year.
You will?
I will. I'm already working on it. I'm just trying to find the right paper.
Right. And of course, these are the women you know on the show regularly commenting on sundry issues. This morning, the experts on call are on my right-hand side, and I will start with Ihoma. I mean, they're ready to go. I can actually feel the vibe from that side. Ihoma BB is Executive Director of Alliance Africa. Good morning, Ihoma.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am very fine, and you?
You look fine, and I'm good. And I know not to take you for on the surface value. Because that I'm fine, thank you, means that there's so much more coming. Great to see you. Right, Ma is here. Ma Obi is Executive Director for Rural Women Empowerment Network. Good morning, Ma.
Fumi, good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I mean, you are the one representing the true women of Nigeria. I can say that without any shame. We are all women of Nigeria, but those are the women of Nigeria. Okay, ladies, I mean, let me start with you, Ihoma. You brought this to the fore. I mean, you started circulating. We didn't even know. And you sent everybody an email that, look, this is happening. What are we going to do about it? And I said, oh, is it for real? What is this about? I don't know what to make of it.
I actually listened to the Senator 2 days ago on the BBC Have Your Say, in which she tried to describe the bill. And from what I understood of her message on the radio was that the bill really was to address the high increases of sexual assault, rape, specifically rape, that had developed in Nigeria. And so I went about trying to find out from various people whether this was true. And then I read the press releases and that the lady had granted in the paper. And when the senator spoke, a lot of the newspapers, the journalists, predominantly male, were very excited. And I thought, they got to be wrong about this. And I actually sat down and I was so upset because, you see, we have problems in Nigeria. How we dress, which is a moral issue, is really not something to be legislated about. And so I felt that we all needed, really, at this point, to stand up and be counted.
Right.
All of us.
Ma, Nigerian women. I mean, in first instance, I want to, they say some things over and over again. I think that after a while, people begin to accept it as a fact. I have, in fact, told my crew that they should go around the street and just film randomly, bus stops, places everywhere where people, women and men are. I want to see, generally, because there's always this talk about Nigerian women dressing indecently. In fact, part of her speech, the senator's speech, is that, she's watched the moral decadence and degradation of our society. And it just doesn't seem to resonate with the Nigeria I live in. So I'm wondering, what is this talk about dress and women in this country, for goodness sake?
Anyway, I start by saying that in January, we, Women Unity Forum, which I'm a member and a coordinator, we organized a press conference. When we had an interview on the 17th of January in Punch newspapers, we organized a press conference. We sent that press test to FOI Network. Everybody has been responding to it because we actually felt betrayed by Senator Ekaette, because first of all, we felt that what she would have done before she started talking about this, she should have called stakeholders in this country, especially she's a chairperson of the Committee on Women and Youth. Should have called stakeholders on women and youth. What are the problems? You know that our legislatures, including everybody in power in Nigeria, take us for granted. And you can understand why, because many of them were not voted into that position. They use violence against Nigerians to get there. They use intimidation and all kinds of vices to get there. And my Madam Senator is talking about vices. And we are now saying that if you want to talk about vices, because like my sister Ifeoma says, it's a moral issue. And we know those who can address moral issues. And the people addressing them are parents, pastors, religious leaders, and traditional rulers. And also we have Federal Ministry of Women Affairs she can liaise with, and UNIFEM and other international and local agencies that she can liaise, even with us activists. We've been doing this work. I work with rural women, and I don't see any rural woman dressing indecently. What I see is hunger. I see deprivation. I see poverty. I see women losing their lives where they are not supposed to lose their lives when they are giving birth, because there is no medical centers. And where there are no drugs. There are no medical personnel. And women die for nothing. These are the women who feed. Go to the rural areas now. You see 99% families are headed by women, because they are sustaining those families. And these women are groaning and hoping that there is a better tomorrow. And you and I have appeared in your program in the 90s. 10 years after, there is no better tomorrow. And we are looking into the next 20 years, there is no better tomorrow. And when we are going to meet our maker, we will say our children, our grandchildren will meet a better Nigeria. If we don't do something to stop the likes of Senator Madam Ekaette, Nigeria will continue the way it is going. Madam must drop the bill. And we are going to do, very soon we are going to march. Day before yesterday, we marched in front of the State Assembly, Lagos, over a woman beaten in the back. And I'm sure it's not indecent dressing that made Honorable Oshunsanya to beat Mrs. Esen, 5-month-old pregnant, in the back, because she was her cancer officer, and asked that, Oga, there is need for us to meet. Your own facility is due for repayment. And he beat her up inside the bank on the 17th of January. She did not dress indecently.